What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. Well, it is official. Okay, you guys, the actors are officially going on strike out in, well, everywhere, not just in LA. Um, we know that this started with the writers' strike. The writers have been on strike for probably about 2 months now. We know that it affected the Tonys, the BET Awards. We know that it's affecting the fall, schedule as far as new shows being produced. We've already talked about that. But we also, the actors voted to be in solidarity with the writers a while ago, and they have been in negotiations. They even brought in a federal mediator, but the deadline was today. So let me read you. This is coming from CNN. I'm just going to read you guys this article. Actors are going on strike after talks with major studios and streaming services fail. A union representing about 160,000 Hollywood actors is going on strike after talks with major studios and streaming services have failed. I just read that. It is the first time its members have stopped work on movie and television production since 1980, after a final day of negotiations on Wednesday did not produce an agreement. Fran Dresser, president, I didn't know she was the president of SAG AFTRA, the union said in a statement, the studio management offers were insulting and disrespectful. The companies have refused to meaningfully engage on some topics and on others completely stonewalled us, she said. Until they do negotiate in good faith, we cannot begin to reach a deal. The union said its governing board approved a strike after the negotiating committee had unanimously recommended it Thursday morning. At a news conference at the union's headquarters in Los Angeles, Drescher said the union would not accept changes to the contract that did not match up to the changes happening in the industry. We're not going to keep doing incremental changes on a contract that no longer honors what is happening right now with this business model that has been foisted upon us. She said at the news conference, what are we doing? Moving around furniture on the Titanic. It's crazy. The union's rank and file members had already voted 98% in favor of authorizing a strike. The body representing studios and streaming services said it was deeply disappointed in a decision to strike, saying it had offered historic pay increases. Rather than continuing to negotiate, SAG-AFTRA has put us on a course that will deepen the financial hardship for thousands who depended on the industry for their livelihood, said a statement from the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers. News of the upcoming strike action comes after a 2-week extension of the union's contract expired. A federal mediator requested by management and approved by the union joined in the final days of talking. SAG-AFTRA members will now join the more than 11,000 members of the Writers Guild of America who have been on strike with the same studios since the start of May. The strike had already halted production on most movies and scripted television programs. There has been no apparent progress in ending the action. Now, there are concerns that with actors joining the writers on strike, the shutdown could stretch throughout the summer and perhaps even persist through the end of the year. The actors' strike is expected to bring most of the remaining production to a halt, with the exception of some independent films not associated with major studios. Hollywood actors and writers haven't been on strike at the same time since 1960, when former U.S. President Ronald Reagan, then a performer, was the president of SAG and the precursor to SAG-AFTRA. The industry has changed radically since the last actors' strike against studios in 1980, when most television shows were on just 3 broadcast networks and movies were shown first in theaters. The studios and streamers have implemented massive unilateral changes in our industry business model, while at the same time insisting on keeping our contracts frozen in amber. That was said by Duncan Crabtree Ireland, the union's chief negotiator. Their refusal to meaningfully engage in our key proposals and the fundamental disrespect shown to our members is what has brought us to this point. The studios and streamers have underestimated our members' resolve, as they are about to fully discover. That sounds like a threat. The difficulty of coming up with contract language to cover the age of streaming services and artificial intelligence is why many fear it will be difficult to reach an agreement on a contract quickly. This is a sea change negotiation, said David Mumppower, chief content officer at Mickey Blog, which tracks news about Disney and co-host of the Streaming Into the Void podcast. And if they get it wrong now, they're going to have it wrong for decades. Strikes come at a time when the major media and tech companies that have jumped into the world of streaming services are forced on cost cutting and profitability rather than subscriber growth. The AMPTP is negotiating on behalf of the studios, including Amazon, Apple, CBS, Disney, NBC Universal, Netflix, Paramount, Sony, and CNN parent Warner Brothers Discovery. Many of these companies have seen drops in their stock prices in the last year, prompting cost cuts that have included layoffs. It had earlier seemed as if the actors' strike could have been avoided. Drescher recorded a video message to members saying the union was having extremely productive negotiations. But immediately after her message, a letter signed by hundreds of high-profile performers, including Meryl Streep, Glenn Close, Jennifer Lawrence, Bob Odenkirk, Mark Ruffalo, Quinta Brunson, and Rami Malek urged the union to take a hard line. The actors said they were prepared to go on strike for the contract that members needed. A strike brings incredible hardships to so many and no one wants it, the letter said. But we are prepared to strike if it comes to that. And we are concerned by the idea that SAG members may be ready to make sacrifices that leadership is not. We hope you've heard the message from us. This is an unprecedented inflection point in our industry, and what might be considered a good deal in any other year is simply not enough. More than 300 actors signed the letter initially. The signature count has since climbed to over 1,000. The issues in the actor strike include increased pay, as well as progress on residuals, particularly on streaming services. There are also concerns about the emergence of AI. As we agree, AI is going to be used. We don't yet know how it will be used. And AMPTA said its proposal to the union included a groundbreaking AI proposal that protects anchors and digital likenesses. Baby, this sounds like this thing is going to be a long time coming. Now, let me share with you guys this other article where... Sorry, my phone keeps bleeping. Where they're afraid that the big companies are just trying to ice them out. So this is an article that I read earlier, and it says Hollywood actors have now joined the writers on strike. Oh, wrong article. Sorry. Here it is right here. This is the one. Hollywood studios hope to drain the writers of their financial resources before resuming negotiations in the fall. So this is the fear, and I'm going to read you guys this article. This is coming from the Jasmine brand. It's actually coming from Deadline. Hollywood studios have no intention of sitting down with the Writers Guild for several more months, regardless of whether SAG-AFTRA goes on strike this week. According to the knowledgeable insider, veteran familiar with the perspective of the studio CEOs, it is believed that the strike will be prolonged with the intention of letting it exhaust itself. I think we're in for a long strike and they're going to let it bleed out, sources said. Despite some dismissing the rumored strategy as mere strike talk, industry insiders from studios and streamers told Deadline that the plan to grind down the guild is ongoing. The end game is to allow things to drag on until union members start losing their apartments and losing their houses. A cruel but necessary evil, an executive told the publication. And then it just goes on to talk about when it started and so forth and so on. So, listen, y'all, I told you guys before, this thing is going to be going on for a minute. I do not see it ending anytime soon. It will affect our fall programming. It will affect television as we know it. And it looks like it's definitely going to spill over into streaming and, obviously cable. So, listen, you guys, I'm a union girl. I stand in solidarity. I do think that streaming has changed the game. And certainly AI is a whole nother question mark that none of us understand what the long-term effects of AI will be. So, let me know what you guys think. Drop it in the comments. Peace. Mm-mm-mm.